Hello everyone, my name is Michael, and in this video, I'm on a quest to find the best juicer for barley and wheatgrass that's less than $100. If you want to learn how to grow barley and wheatgrass, be sure to check out this video. But here, I'm going to test the live enzyme juicer by Healthy Juicer, the Dash Deluxe Compact Juicer, and the Omega Cold Press 365. Now, each of these juicers was strategically chosen. First, because they all have great reviews, which is something I look for when I'm buying anything. They all also had wheatgrass in their marketing material. I mean, to me, that sticks out. They're saying, "We do grass," right? Secondly, they all have slightly different builds and are used a little different. For example, the Omega is the largest amongst the three, having a larger motor. I'm wondering if that will juice way better. It has more of a horizontal build compared to the Deluxe here, which is marketed as a compact juicer and is built more vertically. Followed by this live enzyme juicer here, which is actually manual, so we're gonna have to crank that juice out. And finally, they're all less than $100. So let's go ahead, harvest our grass, weigh them out, and then we're gonna try each of these. That goes right in there. Lock it. Yeah, so that's gonna be to push. Let me see, do you go there, bud? Yes. That I know goes right there. Now these look like two different types of ways you can do it. Okay, so the way that works is it comes out and then turns right? Yeah, and then turns right to lock in. It's definitely compact. There's number two. So this, I take it, screws out. And that's how that's pulled out. And then how this would be cleaned. I get it, yep. So this looks like a replacement. All right, all the juicers are set up and ready to go. So what I'm gonna do now is weigh out 1.5 ounces of both barley and wheatgrass for each juicer to test out. Okay, so now we have 1.5 ounces of both barley and wheatgrass weighed out. Let's do it. What I'm gonna do is take this 2-ounce spoon, which is about 1 ounce. Okay, so that's actually pretty good. It's not all the way, there could definitely be some more. Do have some leakage in the front, don't really like that. Okay, what do we got? Very nice, look at that, perfect. We have our barley grass shot right there. Let's turn the sucker on. Here is the wheatgrass. That's still a good result. All right, and now let's do the barley grass. Yep, another good shot. Starting with the wheatgrass. I get it. So with this one, you're basically supposed to toss in a little at a time and it'll just pull it in. Because it's getting masticized in there. And the juice is coming out here. So we'll just let that run for another minute. Yep. I'd say that we did just about. Folks, that's another good shot right there. There you have it. Another good shot. All right, we've just juiced some barley and wheatgrass in all three juicers. Before I talk about how I think they did, now let's go ahead and clean them. All right, I've just finished cleaning and rebuilding all the juicers. Now I want to give my final ratings. Heads up, I am not sponsored by any of these brands, and even if I was, I'd still give you my honest opinion. Now the first criteria I'm going to judge by is ease of setup. Just by looking at the parts and messing with them, I could see how they go. I mean, I did look at the instructions, but I didn't follow them. Like, all these are pretty easy to set up, so I'm just going to give them all 5. Now the second criteria is going to be ease of use. For the enzyme manual juicer, I'm going to go ahead and give this one a 3. The reason why is because it is kind of difficult to manually juice the grass. Now you should expect that if you're going to get a manual. I mean, I kind of enjoyed it, but I am making a video. If someone's very active or looking for ways to be more active, or I don't know, just doesn't really mind a challenge in their everyday activities, maybe that wouldn't bother them. But it is more difficult than the other two, so I am going to give it a 3 for that. I'm going to add a caveat here though. This is not powered by electricity, and I think that's kind of cool, because if you didn't have power, you could still juice things with this. I like that. I think it kind of gives it its own like sort of value that the other two don't have, so I will say that. Okay, now for the Omega 365. I'm going to give this one a 4. Now, first reason, it was pretty easy to juice it once it got in here, but the process of pushing it down was fairly difficult. I realized that it can only handle a little bit in this down stem. You got to do only a little at a time, and when it would get kind of stuck and I have to apply more pressure, because the build comes out this way, like, I feel like I almost may break it. There were times I had to press pretty hard, okay? So I just didn't really like that. I don't want to feel like I may break it or see it flexing as I'm trying to just get the grass to go down. But if you did a little at a time, that may not be a problem. But for that reason, I'm going to give it a 4. And now for the Dash Deluxe Compact Juicer, this one gets a 5. This one of the 3 was the easiest to use. There were moments where it was also difficult to get some barley and wheatgrass down the stem, but it was nowhere near as hard as it was for the Omega. And honestly, because of its vertical build, like when I'm pressing on it, I felt great. Like I'm just pushing down on the structure. Whereas again, the Omega comes out horizontal and it just seems like, you know, it's like a conflict of pressure. You feel like you could break it. I did not feel that way with this. So I like that a lot. And for that, I'm going to give it a 5. All right, now rating them on their ability to juice the grass, I'm going to give all of them a 5. The manual one did seem to put out a little bit less juice, but I think that's because I just stopped cranking it. I mean, if I had cranked it longer, I'm sure I would have squeezed the last bit out. I think all of them did a really solid job of juicing though. With 1.5 ounces of fresh grass, each of these produced around 1 ounce of juice. And so I think they all did their job very well. The next criteria is going to be on ease of cleaning. And the best of them is definitely the manual one. This I'm going to give a 5. It was really easy to clean all the green out of there. Wheat and barley grass juice is really potent. It can stain things very easy. So by the way, if you're juicing or cleaning, probably shouldn't wear one of your nicest hoodies. But anyways, point is, the manual juicer, I'm giving a 5 because it was the easiest of the 3 to clean. Now for the compact juicer by Dash, I'm gonna give this one a 3. This was the hardest one to clean amongst them, really because where the grass is trapped and comes out the side, it was kind of stuck. It was hard to pull it out of there. I realized you had to pull out this plastic filament and then it was much easier to pull out, but that was more difficult than both of them. So for that, I'll give this one a 3. For the Omega, I'm going to give a 4 on ease of cleaning. It was more difficult than the manual, but it was certainly easier than the compact one. I think just how it was built, it just has an advantage of being able to spray all the excess grass out of there. So that was nice. So manual was the easiest. The Deluxe was the hardest, but honestly, they're all pretty easy to clean. And my last criteria is in fact the price. They're all under $100, which is something I was looking for. So I'm going to give them all a 5. I think all these are pretty fair and affordably priced. So overall, I think all these juicers are great options. They're easy to assemble, they juice the product well, and they're fairly easy to clean. And the biggest things to determine which one you should buy, I think, is first, whether you want something manual or powered by electricity, and two, your available space. If you have more room, then you could fit an Omega, but if you have a smaller kitchen, maybe the Deluxe would fit better. And you know, I think the Omega here is really the long-term play, especially if you want to juice more fruits and vegetables. I mean, look at the size of this motor. I imagine this one will outlast this Deluxe here. I don't know that for sure. I haven't, used them for months, but that's just what I would assume. But if you just want something for wheatgrass and you don't want to use a manual, then you really can't go wrong with this Deluxe Compact Juicer by Dash. And that does it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like if I've provided you value, and I hope I've earned your subscription. Check out some of my other videos like how to grow barley and wheatgrass, and I'll see you in the next one.